obviously very important for where you want to get to. What do you think of coming in? What do you tell the guys in these games?
Well, we kind of left USC in agreement that we went all in on both games. I had no problem with how we competed. We, especially the UCLA game, just we had a chance to take the lead with 30 seconds left. We didn't. They made a great shot at the end. USC was desperate as well. They played well. They handled our pressure better than they did the first time we played. And we were kind of in the game, but we can never really just take control of that game. And we had an advantage going into that week, and it's hard to win on the road in the Pac-12 this year. It's a great league, and that's why there are so many teams in the conversation for the NCAA tournament because of how we performed in the non-conference. And you're seeing there's a lot of still a lot of teams really close there at the top tier. It's tough up there.
After all the excitement and emotions of the win streak, then going to LA, not getting the win streak. Do you feel like you're needing to kind of pick your team up at all during these last two games?
I just wanted to make sure the message was right. That I still felt like we played winning games. We didn't win, but we had the right intentions, and we played fairly well, especially versus UCLA. So I wasn't disappointed in them, and that now we got to finish strong, and that was kind of the message. And we've the guys had a really good way about them today in practice. It was a pretty spirited practice, and so I thought it was a good response to see that. It didn't seem like there were guys that were had the after effects of those two losses.
Is that a concern with the press when you're facing teams the second and third time that there's a little bit, you're figuring out a little bit more?
They were. I mean, there were a couple of times it was dicey. It looked like they could have thrown it away, but they didn't. And Rakocevic, I thought, did a good job for them when they used him, as a big target to throw the ball to and break our front line of the pressure. But there's also the playing at home component, and teams tend to do a better job, when they're on their home court and handling, something like our press.
What about the challenges Washington presents? Obviously, they've got some athletes.
I mean, Washington, I think, is, they lost their point guard. They've been through a lot. They have a lot of, top talent. They have, two potential lottery picks on their team. Again, losing their point guard in the middle of the season, it's hard to recover from that. And then you just go look at all their games that I've been watching. I mean, the Oregon game was at home at their place when Pritchard hit like a 40-footer, late in the game and overtime, and they've had, a number of games like that where they've, been very competitive and just haven't been able to win games late. And so we have a ton of respect for their talent, and then they're unique. I mean, I'm glad that we're playing them first because we get to practice against, their zone a little more, and because you don't see that too often.
I mean, what has Rob meant during his 3 years here?
Yeah, I mean, Rob was he set the tone with his work ethic, and he's never a guy that off the court I'm ever concerned about. He's just like a great kid and very good person, very hardworking, and he was so good the year he sat out, just competing against our team, getting our team ready, him and Zylan, and there are so many times that I can remember him having big games at key times for us. I remember back to the Utah game, at Utah, Kansas game, just so many times he stepped up for us and made big shots and big plays.
Where has been his biggest evolution as a player across your time?
Rob?
Yeah.
I think that he's embraced the defensive end more this year. I think he's been better defensively for us, and we needed him to be. And he's guarded some point guards some, and he's been trouble. We want some physicality, a little more size on the point guard, and it's been able to give Remy a little bit of a breather off the ball, not exerting so much energy. And so certainly he's made an impact more at that end of the floor this year. I'm just proud of how he recovered from what he went through with his slump in the middle stages of his senior year. A lot of guys that don't have good character or good makeup, they would just mail it in and say, like, put their head down and pout. But he bounced back and really has finished strong the last half of the season.
You
mentioned how good his work ethic is. Did he come here already that mature, or did it kind of progress as he was here?
I mean, I wish that I could take credit and we could take credit, but that's entirely his. He's a very highly motivated, self-motivated person, and he's the kind of guy that at 10 o'clock at night, he's gonna, call a manager and probably go in and get shots up, and almost to the point that we want to tell him, hey, you're overdoing it. And I've never seen a kid that, went through a surgery the way he did and like looked the same. Like, it's almost impossible that you could have a back surgery where you can't run or do any cardio, yet you still have like 5 or 6% body fat. It's just he's a freak, just athletically, but it goes to his habits too and how he takes care of himself.
How much time do you spend, if at all, on looking at tiebreaker scenarios in the Pac-12, the standings, NCAA tournament forecasts, any of that stuff?
I mean, it's hard to not look at it now. I mean, I was avoiding doing it before. My son went through a few scenarios with me strictly because I'm not thinking about the NCAA tournament. I'm just thinking about, is there a route for us to win the Pac-12 regular season still? And what about the buys? Because that's such a key thing to have in Vegas, is to be in the top 4 in the conference. So he kind of filled me in on a bunch of those things over the weekend.
Bob, you mentioned how competitive the Pac-12 is. No matter who you guys end up playing in that tourney in Vegas, what do you think the key is to just get over that hump and be competitive with those teams in this league that is competitive?
Yeah. I think when we've been at our best, we've had a lot of guys playing well. So we gotta circle the wagons, make sure we're having good balance, and then we gotta rely on our defense. I think if you could nitpick, a negative for me, just was our first half defense in both games on the road, just giving up 41 points, and that's too many. And we need to do a better job at defending, especially when your season's on the line, and that's coming up real soon. So you got to be able to count on your defense. You're not always going to make shots, and we've done that this year. We've had games we shot it well, we've had games we couldn't make a shot. We've still managed to find a way to win. So definitely have to tighten some things up, get that under the floor.
How important is the bye next week in the tournament?
I mean, I think it's realistically, I know Oregon did it last year, but the percentages and the numbers don't say that it's something that is in your best interest to be outside of that top 4. It's hard to win 4 days in a row. So you put yourself in a much stronger position to have a chance to win a championship if you're able to have that additional day.
How do you prepare for the whirlwind of emotions that are the next 3 to 5 or 6 weeks of your life?
It's just what you work for, really. So I'm trying to just let our team know that this is why you've worked so hard in July and in the off season to get better, and why we've gone through all these battles this year is to have to approach this as like, this is a great thing, this is exciting, the position we're in and things that we could still accomplish. And I haven't really talked about my history with this, but it's been a life changer for me as a player, just these tournaments that I've been a part of in my past. So I get a sense that there was a lot of life today in practice, and that's a good sign. Sometimes this time of year teams are dragging and they're hoping for the finish line, and again, that doesn't guarantee anything this week, but we did practice the way we needed to today.
You have a very experienced core group of guys who have been through a lot of these experiences the last couple of years. So how much of an asset is that at this time of year?
I think it's very important, especially at key positions, at the point guard position in tournaments. A lot of the plays that are made are going to determine your fate. And if you have a guy at that position that is exceptional as a playmaker and a decision maker and a winner and knows how to get those things done, then your odds improve. And then I just think Romello is a rock inside for us. He's very dependable, and so I think it starts with those two guys, and then just having Mickey Mitchell that I think is generating so much more trust with all of us. Just how he's coming on and doing a lot of little things, and of course Rob's picking it up offensively, and so we have a lot of things working in our favor. We just got to put it all together, and we just can't afford to have a bad day.
How important is Remy to that puzzle too, especially over these next few weeks?
When I was talking about like the point guard and the playmaking and shot making, decision making, and being a winner, I was kind of talking about Remy.
Birch was a little bit off. Was it just a matter of him having a bad weekend or teams defending him differently?
I just think he went solo too many times in that game, and especially after watching again, there were a couple opportunities he had to get it to someone else. I think there was one time Romello had a good matchup, and he could have hit him with a bounce pass, and he didn't. So there were a couple of examples that we could point out to him, but yeah, he's been so good lately that it's hard to be overcritical. But we talked about some things that he could improve on and work on this week.
Coach, after the USC game, Rob talked about trying to get it to Romello more, just like in watching the tape. Did guys see that kind of matchup like we saw?
Yeah, some of the post feeds were difficult, and Okongu's so big, and so is Rakocevic. There were some times that he could have got touches, and he probably should have gotten them. And that's a game where we got to have a better feel for that. If we're gonna be 8 for 29 from three, we got to figure out that we got to get it maybe inside and see if Romello could make it happen there down low.